On this episode, we're gonna try and get these cylinder heads ripped off. Hopefully the cylinder heads are still good. I have an idea for which direction I'm gonna take, so hopefully that is gonna be based on the cylinder heads being good. So, let's crack on. Alright folks, I got the cylinder heads off. I've run out of time for the day, so this is going to be it for now. But this engine is quite a mystery. So there's so many things going on here, I don't even know where to start. So as you guys know, the engine was rod knocking when we got it. That's the reason we're taking it apart. That's the reason we're doing all of this. I expected for there to be nothing wrong with the top end. For there nothing to be wrong with the cylinder heads, the pistons, or the tops of the pistons at least, but there's a lot more going on here than I originally thought. So you can see intake valve hit the piston there. This piston looks okay. That one looks okay. This one looks okay. This piston, intake valve hit it a little bit. Looks like a little bit of intake valve contact there. This piston looks okay. This one looks like something was dancing around in the piston here, or in the cylinder, I should say. It looks like something was making contact around here and around here. Now you all need to see the cylinder heads. Cylinder heads, something similar is going on here. You can see, some piece of metal was bouncing around in the cylinder. So this one's toast. This one looks okay. This is okay. This one's okay. This one over here, yeah, we got some material that's been dancing around this cylinder as well. Yeah. And that one's okay. So both these cylinder heads have problems with them. I'm sure they would work and they would still run. I mean, they ran in this car. So here's my theory of what happened. I think the previous owner of this vehicle, whether it was the person I bought it from or the person he bought it from, what I think happened was the valve seat dropped in the original engine, which is what happened on the car we had before. This same car, this Chrysler 300, the valve seat dropped. Y'all remember that. You can go back and watch the video. That's what I think happened with his vehicle. This might be the original bottom end of his car. So what he might have done was replace the cylinder heads. However, he might have not cleaned out the intake manifold completely, or he might have not cleaned it out at all. That thing might have dropped, chewed up one of the pistons. He might have replaced the piston. He drove the vehicle. Some of the pieces of the valve seat that made their way up into the intake manifold might have made their way back down into the cylinder and chewed up the cylinders. However, the damage those pieces of metal caused from the valve seat might have not been enough to make the engine not to work. That's what I think happened. So I think the issue with the cylinder heads and the damage we're seeing on the tops of the pistons might be an independent issue with the bottom end. I definitely want to take those lifters out and investigate those, make sure the camshaft's good. This is kind of a problem now because now I have to pivot my strategy, my little plan I had for how I'm going to fix this engine. I need to reevaluate that. So we'll see. We'll see. So far, so good. We'll look at it later after and see how much glitter or any metal shavings are in there. All right, moment of truth. I don't know if you can tell, but there's certainly a lot of sparkly substance coming from the oil filter. This definitely look like it's coming from what was internal to the engine. This doesn't look like it's from the steel that we just cut. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, those are from the rod bearings for sure. That is definitely copper. Yeah. All right, folks, this right here is good enough information to tell us this bottom end definitely has to come apart, that's for sure. This rod is the one that was knocking this very first one from the front. So I'm going to take it off and it's going to be another moment of truth. All right. Let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. Yeah, this one spun for sure. No question. I can't get it out, guys. So here's the bottom one, or the one that was connected to the bottom. As you can see, it is completely misshapen and has spun. This one definitely welded itself to the crankshaft. All right, got it off, finally. Again, this one was on the top side, so it's beaten up much more. We could also see evidence in the oil pan. You can see down here all these copper and metal bits. Let's get the rest of these rods out. This one's almost brand new. Perfect. All of these are perfect except for the one that spun. It looks like the oil filter did its job and caught all the residual pieces. There we go. Wow, perfect. This one is perfect as well. Top side, a little beat up, but still pretty good. Very good. Very good as well. Alright guys, just ran to AutoZone to rent this harmonic balancer puller so I can pull off this harmonic balancer. Alright, this is it folks. Oh, yeah. Okay. This is the aftermath. Here are the main bearings. As you can see, most of them look pretty good. Actually, all of them look pretty good except for this one. There's a bit of scoring on that main bearing. Perhaps a little bit on here as well. Here are the bottom side, as you can see. A little bit of scoring. These main bearings were actually a little worse than expected. Typically, the main bearings look a lot better than the rod bearings, but these ones were a little rough. As you can see, pretty rough. Not very close to catastrophic engine failure, in my experience or my estimation, but definitely rough. Yeah. The crankshaft is trashed. Just looking at this rod journal, this one it's worn down so bad that the diameter of this journal is significantly smaller than the other one. And also, to my surprise, this main bearing, you can definitely feel the fingernail. This was the same one where the bearing for the main was also looking a little rough. Yeah, this crank is trashed. You could have somebody grind it down and get those oversized bearings or whatever, but that's not what we do here. We're trying to save cash. And then looking at the pistons, I showed y'all the bearings for the pistons, but just again, you know, here are the tops of the pistons. This was the worst one. The engine didn't feel like it was out of time, but perhaps it was. The timing chain was very tight, so if it was out of time, I'd be surprised. Typically, when you have engine failure with metal going through the engine, it's wise to replace the oil pump. However, I am actually going to open this oil pump up just by undoing these bolts around it and inspect it. If the interior of the oil pump looks okay, I'm going to reuse it, because with the budget constraints we're working with here, I really just don't want to spend money if I don't have to. But yeah, the block is absolutely perfect, so nothing to worry about with the block. Block is perfectly fine. Yeah, I think I'm going to be replacing this oil pump, guys. I just want to show y'all why. As you can see, these edges, they're kind of worn. This one as well. You can see the insides where they make contact with this edge. They're a little worn as well. I don't know if it should be like that or what. We'll see. We shall see. All right, folks, in that last clip, you all saw we got the engine completely disassembled. So based on what we've done in this episode, you can probably infer that we are leaning towards a cheapskates rebuild, a roaches to wrenches style rebuild, kind of typical with what I do. So we're not doing a rebuild with a bunch of new parts. We're just going to source a bunch of used parts and, get a working engine together. So this engine has certainly been out of the car before. A lot of bolts were either loose or missing entirely. This engine's certainly been gone through, and whoever went through it before really cut a lot of corners and didn't do things properly. We plan on doing things correctly this time around. So I'm excited to move forward. Hopefully y'all are as well. But as for now, I'm grinding. I hope you all are doing the same. You all stay strong, stay healthy, and stay inspired. I'm out. God bless. Stay tuned.